All right, all right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Geopolitics in Conflict show. Good to see you too. It's been a while. I know we missed you as well. First of all, Rafael, I want to thank you for your super sticker. That's the first thing that came up right here on the screen. So thank you so much for that. And I couldn't agree more with your comments. You're absolutely correct on that one. So spot on. Well, first of all, let me tell you why I'm here, why I decided to come on the air here, because I wanted to provide you this is a brief readout, a brief analysis, if you will, about what is at the heart of the U.S.-Russia tensions over Ukraine. There's a lot of confusing because everybody's bombarded with information about what is all this about. I'm going to just provide a brief, as I said, brief readout on it. But if you want more detail, you can join me and Ross tomorrow when we do our live stream, but not going to be on this platform. It's going to be on local. So if you feel like to join us tomorrow at the same time, 1100 hours, we're going to be doing a detailed narrative there. Usually we do those for the members. You can check out our membership at geopoliticsinconflict.com. We just did a presentation today, very, very detailed one, without mentioning the topics here, because that can flag us. So you all know this, and the reason why you don't see us a lot here is because of that. There are some of you who post some questions regarding whether we're still doing videos or not. Yes, we do. And you're going to be seeing some videos coming up, well-polished videos and all that. The live stream, we're going to keep once a while. It's because the limitations. We have more freedom on the other platforms to talk about than what we can do here. So, and you all know that, and I am sure you guys understand. So, but anyway, let's talk about what is at the heart of these ongoing tensions. So, of course, we've been hearing about the invasion that's going to take place and so forth, but there are other issues behind the scenes that has not been reported. So, and to make it simple for you guys to understand, there are three elements. At least this is based on my opinion, my assessments. I'm going to put my geopolitical analyst hat, and that is why I'm going to provide you with. So there are three elements. One of them is economic. Okay. Second one is geopolitical, and third one is U.S. domestic politics. And I'm gonna, provide you insights on each one of them. Economically speaking, some will say, okay, what is this fuss is all about, and the hypes and tensions and all that? What is at the heart of it economically? Well, what's at the heart of it economically is energy. Why? It's because Europe, as a matter of fact, Germany by itself takes about 46% of its energy needs from Russia. So, what does it mean again? Well, what it means is that U.S. energy companies want to have a share of the pie. Russia produces about 300 billion cubic meters of natural gas. Germany consumes about 30, I think. That's how much they need, and so forth. There is no one country that can provide except Russia in this case. So there is right now, and as a matter of fact, I will be doing, but this is for our members on the other side. I'm going to be doing a detailed narrative for them about the meeting that just took about 4 hours ago in Brussels for the EU, and what was that meeting is all about, and what's at the heart of that was the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which is bringing natural gas from north of Russia all the way down to Germany. Let me just say thank you to Evan. I want to say thank you for your super sticker. I appreciate it. So this is what's at the heart of that one. So basically, what the United States wants, it wants the U.S. companies to be the ones selling natural gas to Germany. Well, it just doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense from a business perspective for one reason and one reason only. Germany, or Europe for that matter, purchase gas cheaper from Russia than it will purchase it from the US. Basically, the US will charge about fivefold. Why? Proximity, the insurance, and all that. So it makes more sense for the Europeans to get gas from Russia. So you're talking about Germany, Italy, Greece, Cyprus, even the UK, and some other countries. And this is what's at the heart of this. Why those tensions are ramping up, economically speaking. So there is, of course, right now, the conversation about sanctions and all that. But the sanctions, a lot of people do not understand is that the sanctions, it's not going to work. The reason being, yes, you can sanction Russia, but who you're going to be harming in the process? You're going to be harming the Europeans, mainly Germany, and you're going to be harming even the US for us here. Why? Because energy prices are going to go up. As a matter of fact, we're going to be detailing this tomorrow. I just don't want to give up too much information as to what we're going to be covering for tomorrow. But this is one of the aspects that most I would say not only here in the US, but around the world, they don't understand, because what you're hearing is about we're going to fight for democracy in Ukraine and so forth. Well, let's take a step back and see the reality for what it is. And that becomes very, very problematic as to what the economic condition or dimensions of these tensions are. Because the argument now in the West is that by imposing sanctions on Russia, because Russia's main source of income for its budget comes from natural gas. Once again, as I said earlier, Russia produces about almost 300 billion cubic meters a year of gas. So they have a lot of gas. So economic is one. Geopolitical is a second one. And this is very, very, very important for you to understand. But before I'll jump into the economic one, I need you to understand one thing that is very, very crucial regarding the economic dimensions is that the US does not want Europe trading with Russia, mainly in the energy sector. And this is why it's trying to break up the economic relationship with Russia seems to be a priority right now in the West, because this push for the narrative of democracy, the narrative of territorial integrity of Ukraine. But let's take a step back. Why are we worrying about some country that are so far from here? We're going to spend in our over $4 billion on it and so forth. It's a little bit cynical, that is, to say the least. So, but on the other hand, you think about what will happen if this interdependent relationship between, for example, Germany and Russia moves forward. Could this be the most important relations in the world? Maybe, that's possibly. And this is, again, as a student of history, I tend to use history as my guide, as I always say. It's important to understand that the last time, if we are to create these tensions, we in the West creating these tensions for Russia and Europe, because I said it before on the other platforms that hypothetically, should there be a military conflict between the US and Russia, who's going to be hammered first? Not the US, not Russia. It's going to be Europe. And this is, again, when I use history, that if I am to think, the last time Germany and Russia sort of butted heads together, it was about 30 to 40 million people lost their lives in Europe as part of World War II. So this is what I believe. Everyone, it doesn't matter who you are, all humankind, shall we say, or mankind, that is. We all should support peace, shall we say, and not only for Europe. Europe desperately needs it. It really needs it, because this tensions is not going to bode well for them. It becomes a question that you should ask yourself is, okay, why is the US is vigorously trying to obstruct that? And that's the $1 million question that we're going to answer tomorrow. So there are certain aspects of it we can detail here, and I am sure you guys understand what this is all about. Let me talk about the second aspect, which is geopolitical. And this one is very, very important, and I happen to know a little bit about, because I did write the book about Russia, in which I detail all these aspects. So I'm a little bit familiar with exactly, and I've been around that part of the world, so I kind of understand the history. And this is where the West does not understand the dynamics as to why Russia is behaving the way it behaves. Well, if you look at the history back then, as a matter of fact, most of the Western audience, if I give them the world map and tell them pinpoint Ukraine for me, they're not going to know where it is. So, and this is not to make fun. We don't make fun on this kind of stuff. It's just to highlight that lack of being informed about geography is very, very crucial. So the idea of why is because you have to go back to, well, not going back some 300, 400 years ago. As a matter of fact, if you go about 300 years ago, you will find out that Kiev, which is the capital of Ukraine today, used to be the capital of Russia. So there is an intertwined history between Ukraine and Russia. And this is the reason why you're seeing what you're seeing in the Donbas area. The Donbas area is it on the eastern side of Ukraine, closer to Russia's border, and most of its people are Russian-speaking population, and that's how it has been historically there. And there is one thing that is very important, is that the media, and I'm going to say it, is that conveniently or ignorantly did not disclose and did not report about the ongoing tensions in that part of the Ukraine. What I meant by that is who was shelling whom. It was the Ukrainian government that was shelling the Russians ethnic who will live in the Donbas area. And this is what prompted what took place just on Monday. What took place when the Russian president signed a decree recognizing the independence of Donetsk and Luhansk, and both of them are located in the Donbas region. So why is that? It's because to the Russian president, it became evident that after the fall of the US, and this didn't become evident yesterday. It became evident from way back after the fall of the Soviet Union. It became clear that the West deliberately is ignoring Russia's interests, especially the security aspects of it. And then when NATO started expanding eastward, that just sent a strong message to Moscow that time is of the essence. And this is why they had to act regarding that. But without going way back, geopolitically speaking, go back to 2014. And 2014 saw a major change. Why is that important? It's because in 2014, that's where you saw the regime change in Ukraine. And without going into more detail about it, because we're going to discuss this stuff tomorrow, it becomes the problematic for Russia to see, okay, this is where this regime change that's going to take place that took place rather in 2014 kind of changed the dynamics or changed the conversation altogether. So geopolitically speaking, and this is where you started to see the expansion of NATO way out near Russia's border. Russia's concerned, and those are legitimate ones. They didn't want to have, for example, the Tomahawk missiles, US being pointed right there closer to Russia's border, because those are within distance to Moscow. It's no different than us here in the United States having, for example, China or Russia or any other country comes over and establish a base in the Gulf of Mexico or near Alaska or the Gulf of California, and we're not going to be okay with that. And this is where that expansion of NATO created some tensions regarding that, because here is the thing that you need to understand geopolitically speaking, is that Ukraine represents the red line for Russia. But there is also a saying that a lot of people do not put it within the context. And the saying about NATO goes like this: keep the Americans in, the Germans down, and the Russians out. So that is the whole reason for why a lot of people do not understand and do not know the idea of that this geopolitical change, shift in the landscape It has some historical facts to it. And this is why the decision that the Russian president made by recognizing Donetsk and Luhansk will change the geopolitical landscape in that part of the world, but only in Europe, but also rather in Europe as well. So a big change, and I intend to detail this stuff tomorrow. So that's very important to understand these dynamics. And this is why you're seeing the narrative coming out of NATO, the narrative coming out of Washington, the narrative coming out of London, Brussels, or even the EU for that matter. As a matter of fact, today, the EU imposed sanctions on Russia. It's going to be the sanctions, of course, as the tool that's going to be used. But whether it's going to be effective or not, my understanding is might not be in a long term. This is just it's almost like a band-aid, if you will, because remember, governments will have to show that they are tough on the Russians and so forth, but it's not going to hold. Also because Russia is moving in a different direction altogether. And we all know there are those who say, well, no, now Russia is going to lose regarding the gas delivery to Europe and all that, because the Nord Stream 2 right now pipeline is on hold. The German Chancellor Olaf Scholz made the decision not to certify the Nord Stream 2. So it's ready to go, but it's not officially operational till the German government signed on one particular document, and they are holding off on that. But Russia is not going to be worrying too much. Yes, they might lose a little bit of money here and there, but no, it won't be a big deal. Why? Because they already cut a deal with China for $200 billion by which Russia is going to deliver gas to China. China is a big market. You can't ignore that. And the Germans is going to realize, well, wait a minute. Now we don't have gas because they're going to freeze, basically, one. But second, they're going to need gas somehow. Already prices are going up, are spiking in Europe. So the Germans, like any Russian person or country, they're not going to want to buy gas from some other entity at 5 times or 10 times the price. So, for example, if they are right now paying $100, they will be paying, once the sanctions enter into effect, they're going to be paying about $500. We are witnessing this right here in the US with the oil prices going up already. So, but also geopolitically speaking, that's from the economic aspect, but geopolitically speaking, the dynamics within Europe, it's not going to be expressed openly. And we will talk. I hope you can join us tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to be talking openly about what do I mean by that, not talking openly. Europe is not going to do it. It's because Europe is at a crossroads right now. And what do I mean by crossroads? It's thinking, is it time for us, Europe, to have our own independent foreign policy? Is it time for us to have our own security architecture independent from the US? Those are the questions that's being asked right now, that so many analysts are sort of thinking in terms of that's what a leader of a country in Europe should be asking right now. You're already seeing the rift. For example, France, Germany, Hungary, those are NATO members, but most of them made the trip directly to Russia to understand, to have a better assessment, and also to be there physically. They don't want to count or depend on Washington telling them, oh, we had a conversation with the Russian state authorities. They want to go and listen for themselves. And this is why it's very, very important to understand the dynamics. Most of us here in the US, if you are, I happen to understand this because that's my area, my field of academic studies, and I wrote extensively on this. So I do have an understanding on this. So I'm speaking from experience here. And this is why an average citizen here is bombarded by so many conflicting information that is perplexing to him or her. And this is what we're trying to do, at least for us, with our show, is by providing a clear understanding, a simplified one that can help others understand what's going on. And I truly, truly hope, guys, you can join us tomorrow for the live stream. So that's geopolitically speaking. And remember, as a geopolitical analyst, as I always say, you tend to look for the trend, where the trends are around the world. This is not about just in that particular geographical area in Eastern Europe. No, 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 no. Yes, this is where the issue is, but you're going to have to look elsewhere. And what do I mean by this? You're going to have to look elsewhere. For example, what China just did by now signing a deal with Bangladesh to establish a facility in Bangladesh for China's surface to air missiles. That's where they will be maintained and worked on. It's a big deal. Why? Because that's going to change the architecture, geopolitically speaking, in the Southeast Asia. Okay, that's one. You think about Latin America. Why is that important again? It's because that's going to be seen soon, a geopolitical shift in the Western hemisphere headed by Argentina and Brazil, the two large economies in Latin America. And why is that important? It's because Russia and China will be part of that shift in Latin America. So this is why it's very important geopolitically, what's taking place right now regarding these ongoing tensions between US and Russia over Ukraine. They will have ramifications outside the borders of Europe. Why? Because the shifting sand of the global geopolitical landscape is not limited only to Europe. It is around the world. So there are those who've been, I will be doing an interview on Saturday, I think, in Washington, D.C. I hope you can listen to it at 1 o'clock, I think, or 2, somewhere around that. And last time I did, somewhere asking, are we looking at World War III? No, we're not. There will be no World War III. It's because there will be no winner. Straightforward. And the last thing we should be thinking about a World War III. No, it's not going to happen, because that will be the end of mankind, given what both countries have, the US and Russia. And it's not going to get to that. Where the change is going to happen geopolitically is that now we at this moment witnessing the shift in the geopolitical landscape, which means what in a simple language? We are moving away from a unipolar system to a multipolar system. The Earth or the globe is no longer the property of a sole superpower. And I think there are some in the Western world, in London, Brussels, Frankfurt, Paris, Lisbon, Madrid, Washington, they have a hard time accepting this reality. That's basically what it is. So, and the third element is I'm looking at my time here. The third element has to do with U.S. domestic policies. Well, when I say domestic policies, domestic or failed policies, and that's another area we're going to detail more tomorrow because of the wording of some. But let me just let you know that domestic U.S. politics is playing a role in that. And simply just to provide you a framework for that, it has to do with, for example, to divert the masses from not paying attention to how the economy is doing, the inflation, the rise in oil prices. You create a diversion of sort, another a conflict, a theater of sorts, because the attention span of some of us is very, very, very short. And this is usually where we come in as far as truly, truly breaking down this kind of complex issues and simplify them for our viewers to have a better understanding, to have a better understanding of what's leading to these complications. And as I said earlier, tomorrow we're going to be doing this live at 1100 hours. Russ and I are going to detail some stuff that it's worth knowing and understanding why. It is not enough just to have information, as we always say. It's very important to understand what that information means. And we're going to be doing a lot on the other platform, unfortunately. So you all know the reason. And it's sad that we have to do it that way. So, but this is what I wanted to share with you guys just briefly here. providing you an understanding of at least what is at the heart of this, uh, shall we say, a crisis. Even it's not the right term for it. There is another term that's usually we don't use here, and I'll use it tomorrow. So, but this is exactly where things are and why they are the way they are. And if I have an advice for you, one thing is try to truly read up onto the history of Russia and Ukraine from way back. This is not about the last 40 years or 50 years. Go way back. I did an entire chapter in this book, an entire chapter 2, in which I detailed the history of. Let me just see it right here. Yeah, I provided all the maps and the history of all this about how Ukraine came to be and what it means for within the Russia's existence since the 9th century or so. It's no different than to understand why Russia behaves the way it behaves today. You need to go back to the 9th century and learn a little bit about Peter the Great for you to put things in perspective, to understand again where what happened in the 10th century when, for example, why the Orthodox Christians in Russia, why religion plays a major role in shaping the political directions in Russia. You have to go back and understand the history of Russia. So if I have one advice, is if you get a chance to read up a little bit on that, it truly will provide you an insight. Let me see. I see a super sticker here. I have to put my glasses. Billy Button, thank you so much, Billy Button. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for your super sticker. So we are, guys, trying to literally up our game as far as the. Of course, we don't do silly videos here, and you know this. We're trying to define literally our role. Okay, why are we doing this? Why? What is our objective for all this one? Yeah. Yes, we want to make you aware and all that, but exactly, are we sort of making sure that we're providing you the understanding you need to grasp these issues? The one thing that I feel comfortable saying is that when we do our presentations for our members, because those are for members only, but we can talk openly about the stuff, and we just had one today. It was about a topic regarding our neighbors to the north, and you all know what I'm referring to here. And it was incredible, and even Elizabeth came in and did provide one segment on it, on truly the human aspects of it, linguistically speaking, and the manipulation that goes on. It was an eye opener. So this is what we're trying to do. So your support like this means a lot to us. And as I always say, I truly mean it when I say I can't thank you enough, guys, on behalf of the entire team. And yet we want to do bigger things, but those things require a lot of resources. We are working to the best of our abilities, whatever we can afford. And we don't have a millionaire sponsors or whatever. So if you are a millionaire watching and you would like to truly support us, then do it. So that's what it is. But in any event, so this is, I'm not going to be staying here rambling here, but this is exactly what I want to provide you briefly here, is about this truly what is at the heart of these ongoing tensions, because you're going to be hearing so many information from different directions, and each one advocating for whatever agenda that may be. So at least I'll provide you not my opinion, but I provide you a readout and let you reach your own conclusion, because only you can reach that conclusion. I'm not doing that for you, and I will not do that for you, because it won't be right of me to do so. No. So well, just I'm gonna, guys, leave you here, because I have to go log in on a different platform and provide some of our members on locals, as I promised them yesterday, because I did promise, once I have a chance to read the press release from the European Union meeting that just took place about 4 hours ago, and I did read it already, and I need to provide them a brief analysis for them as well, as to where things are headed. So, and you may ask yourself, why is this important? Well, it is important for you to understand where things are headed, so you can make the right decisions. So whether you are in Europe as we speak now, or in Asia or Latin America, whatever you may be, there are those who always think, oh, those issues are far away from me. Why do I have to worry about it? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because geopolitics trickle down from the top all the way down. That's usually how it works. And you need to understand those dynamics, how it works. You need to understand why governments behave the way they behave. So once again, guys, if you get a chance tomorrow to join us at 1100 hours, that will be so great to see you there. And we're going to have an open forum there for Q&As. I don't do Q&As here because I'm by myself here. And I just like to come and talk to you about provide you and in-depth. I will be keeping up this, not on a daily basis, of course, because I have other obligations to do, including my teaching and so forth. But I will be happy to do, I will be doing this. But at the same time, we exist. So we're still here, and we will be doing videos on a regular basis. We're working on this stuff, and it will be good quality videos of topics that we believe you need to have an understanding about. And so I want to say thank you to all for your support. I want to say thanks to those who provided us super stickers. It means a lot to us. Thank you so much for that. And I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow and seeing you again next time. So hope you are doing well and stay safe wherever you are. So take care of yourself and talk with you soon. As always, stay informed. Till next time. Bye-bye.